Hello friends, welcome back, and as promised, I am here to show you one other way to create faux washi based on the video that we did the other day on ideas to use your excess washi. And I don't know if you're like me, but I have a lot in my stash and I don't use it nearly as much as I probably should. So just as a recap to show you, this is going to be pretty quick because this is the easiest little project ever. I did finish the last three little pieces that I had left behind that I didn't finish on what was yesterday's video. I'm not sure that it's coming out. This video will come out the very next day, but we created all of these different little pieces just using washi tape. And they're super fun, they're super easy. But I realized that some of you don't necessarily have maybe washi tape. So how can you create your own washi that is just as adorable as some of these little projects that I have in front of me? And I'm going to show you how to do, this one's stuck together. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, so we're going to put these aside. We're going to put those in my done ephemera pile. Let me get organized. And you're going to need some water. Well, you can use any kind of paint you want. I'm using watercolors. I have watercolor pens. I just had to pick these up the other day at Michael's because I didn't have any with me. I have a little spray bottle that I'm going to reactivate this paint that I used to prep. And you're going to need some paper. Now, in this project, I am going to use, this is watercolor paper. And here's what we are aspiring to. Here is a finished product with the pieces that I created. So there's that. Here are some that I've already cut out. As you can tell, these were bigger, and I cut them down, those two, so that fit. And then I used a circle as well behind it. But these are just some of the ones that I created. And one other thing that you will want to have are some markers, Sharpies, whatever. I have the Sharpie creative markers, and I also have some regular thin line and regular fine point Sharpie as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make some swatches, if you will. So I did this one on watercolor. This is on just a regular piece of cardstock. And personally for me, I like the look of watercolors. So it's, you know, darker in some spots, lighter in the other. If you don't, you may want to consider using some acrylic paint or any other color paint that's not as fluid, if you will. So I'm just going to pop in a little bit of water here, and I'll just show you what I did. And now, what I didn't do when I was creating these is to show you how you can actually make real strips of washi by just using, oh, I need my water. I need my water cup. My red Solo cup. Which one of these did I use? I used this one. Okay, we're going to use that one. Let me get my Solo cup. Let me maybe put a little cleaner water in there. There we go. Solo cup. Got it. But if you want to make strips, if you have some washi or any other kind of tape, I just had this that wasn't really one of my favorites, so I just put strips down here so that I can create kind of straight lines in them. And let me just mix this up again. And then you can see what it looks like. So what essentially will happen, this won't be dry by the time I get done with my, with the video. Ooh, this is not, it's not doing its thing, friends. It's kind of chunky monkey. That's weird. Look at me just putting them in there. Huh. Well, this is what I have here at the camper. It's not a really expensive brand, but apparently it doesn't like to be reactivated. So we're just going to pop some in here so that we can carry on. was too much. Get some red. I should have tried it beforehand, but I wanted to have you see how you reactivate it. But clearly that's not working. Oh wait, maybe this is acrylic. Hold on, hold the phone. It is. No wonder. And therefore, that is why it is not. Well, that's funny. I thought this was watercolor because the way I did it, it turned out like watercolor. Who knew? That is so funny. I did not even know that I had this and not watercolor. I have a tiny little watercolor palette that I have in my everyday, not everyday, but my everyday travel bag that's just the very, very basics. So I must have got confused. Let's just put a little bit. Did I put purple in there already? I don't think I did. That's probably enough, but I kind of like this purple color, so we're going to add some in there. Well, there you have it. If you had watercolored it would have been reactivated with no problem. I'm a little slow to go today. I woke up. Dave said he thought he was getting a sinus infection, so he hasn't felt the best the last couple days. And then I woke up in the middle of the night with a sore throat and swollen glands. I'm like, ugh. So I don't feel fantastic. I just don't. I'm going to stick this under here so I have less to clean up. Now, with your washi, sometimes you have to make sure it's really stuck down so that it doesn't bleed through, but you guys will get the gist. And like I said, I like my almost like an ombre effect kind of look. And all you're doing is just painting on here. Now, if you want it, like that's kind of heavy with the color, you can just pull it out. See how that's coming up right there? So there you go. You got one strip of pink. Let's try, you know my favorite color combos. Let's try an orange. And we're just gonna go like that. And then for the ones that I did here, I started out just doing some basic squares and rectangles. And then I was like, I want to do some hearts and some circles so I could punch them out. So I did those. But, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do anything that you really want. The fact is, you're just essentially creating some ephemera, or for some of you who like to use the word fodder, and you're making your own art to create backgrounds or your own washi like this. I just then designed it. This is a great thing if all you have, like say that you were in a remote cabin in the woods and you brought some watercolors with you, and all you have is watercolors and some white paper or watercolor paper, and you feel so inspired that by a paper bag that happened to be from the grocery that you went to get all of your provisions for said camping trip or cabin adventure. Well, start designing your own. All you need is some paint and some markers, a pair of scissors once you get done, and cut it out, and just go for it. It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing too, because you know what? You're not drawing flowers or houses or a portrait. You're just slapping down some paper or some paint on a piece of paper. And that can just be as relaxing as any other little art type of medium, right? I like to watercolor. I will tell you, when I was in college and I was an art major, I was a little intimidated by watercolors. And since then, I used a lot of acrylic. I did use some oil, although, truth be told, my patience with oil paint is not, I mean, I want to keep working on it a lot of times until something is complete. So oil paint takes way too long. But I did do a lot of oil paints anyway, because, you know, we had to, right? What color have I not used? Let's use this pink to make a circle. And that's all there is to it. You're just gonna loosely make your pretties. No rules. Well, we need to finish that one up, don't we? Let's do an orange one. It doesn't have to be perfectly square or rectangle or circular or heart-shaped. Just have some fun with it. And see, like this one, it will start bleeding because that's watercolor paper. And the end result will be just spectacular. So then we set this aside, we'll let it dry, and then I guess I can just show you even though it's not dry. You get a nice straight strip there, and you could really create almost perfect washi, right? Okay, so let's just take this watercolor, and remember, your watercolor paper is going to take your ink a little bit differently than just a regular piece of cardstock. Now, regular cardstock, as you can tell, it kind of curls a little bit. Not a big deal, but just to kind of show you. And you could even take, like, I mean, for example, if you just put, can you see that? No, you cannot. Here, let me put it over here. You could just take some designs, or, you know, I guess you could look it up on Google at washi tapes. And if you're stuck for the types of designs, you could use some of your own washi tape or whatever you see out there and just create something similar. Like this one was blue with white, but we'll just use this black. And then you just create until your little heart's desire. I've got some videos on doing similar things with watercolors, obviously not acrylics. You could do it with, I kind of like this, how it looks like almost like a ripped edge, so I'm not going to outline this one. What was I saying? I told you, I'm not quite with it. I don't remember. You're all over there yelling at me. You were saying, I don't know, but one other thing I wanted to tell you is all you're doing is creating your design. So, you know, you could cut these out and use them just as they are. You could do collage with them. You could do little clusters, or you could just use them as your background like I did here, and cut them into smaller pieces and such. One thing I will tell you about this, about the Sharpie crates, remember they're opaque, so they are coming up over the top and look really, really kind of cute. Let's see. I'm going to move that out of the way because I don't think we really need that. We could do, let's just outline this. So what are y'all up to today? Are you creating anything exciting? What kind of projects are you working on? Maybe we'll make this one thicker. We could even make that one and this one a little thicker so it looks like it's truly a design. We could also put some little dots in here. Well, that might not be quite dry. Nope, we're not gonna do that because that'll ruin my Sharpie. Okay, let's see, let's pick a couple others, but essentially that's all there is to it. I wonder what this will look like if I use the green, and I'm flipping this around because that might still be wet. Let's see what happens if I use green on green. You can barely see it, but it does add a little bit of contrast to it. So you could do something like that, a little monochromatic look. That's black. Let's see. This these markers that I have in here are actually what I use in my Bible journaling stuff, and I did bring that with, along with some pens and such. Let's see. Let's just do some little V's. Again, you can barely see these, but that's okay. You know, subtle patterns are just as nice, right? Now, these that I did, I got them a little bit close. So, like, let me show you a couple of these. Like this one I did with the outline, or the ones that I did yesterday. Some of them had borders around them. It's a little bit harder. This is one of my favorite. This was pink watercolor, and then I just used the white over it and made those little pretties. So here's what that one looked like. I just did like that, and then I just kept going along like this. Yeah, my head's a little bit foggy, a little froggy, and then I just made little ones right in between it, just to give it that look. And then you cut them out and you use them on your projects. And that, my friends, is all there is to it. It's just a lot of fun. So I'm gonna probably leave these just like they are in my ephemera box that I have here at the camper. And then I can continue to work on them or create new things as I wish, or if I'm working on a specific project. And then I can cut them out whenever I'm ready. And I'll have all kinds of design paper. So if I don't have any cool paper with me, I can create my own. And that is all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed that. And come back again if you like what you saw. And we'll do some more fun things together in our next video. Until next time, remember to take time to just be. We'll see you soon. Cheers.